Okay, I want to remove our 375A backhoe from our 3039R 39 horsepower tractor. One of the problems I had removing the backhoe and installing it was the two lower lift links on the 3-point hitch would not lift the backhoe up high enough to release the mount pins. Then I found out I was low on transmission fluid. Here it's at the top normal here, so I'm okay today. It's been stable. I had busted a hydraulic hose and replaced it. The front end loader and the backhoe seemed to work okay until I tried to remove the backhoe. And then I found out the lift links would not lift the backhoe up high enough to release the mount pins. Ended up I was 1 gallon low on transmission fluid or hydraulic fluid. I topped that off, and now the 3-point hitch will lift the backhoe up and release the pins for either removing or installing. So that problem solved. Well, the second problem I had is when this turnbuckle is in the lock position, this handle's in the way of the backhoe frame. So it comes up and binds the frame here, and it makes the pin bind. It's hard to get out. So I found that if you turn it 1/8 of a turn, now the handle's out of the way, and that's also a locking position. So that problem was solved. The manual says to put some wood underneath the frame and the bucket, keep it out of the wet dirt, slow down corrosion and rust. I also think that putting the wood under the frame helps stabilize it better because it's a bigger footprint than the thin metal frame. And I think it's easier to put the wood underneath the frame before I lower the stabilizers, more room. And here's some wood for the bucket. Bucket wood. Okay, we need to put all the cylinders in the park position and put the locking pins in. The manual says to a horizontal position. You can eyeball it. I use a level. Okay. Here's the boom locking pin. This is the transport position. We want to move it down to the park position. All right. Here's the swing locking pin. Okay, and we have a retainer pin for the boom. Here's a retainer pin for the boom locking pin. I'm going to bring the dipper stick all the way in completely. Rotate the bucket to where the teeth are parallel to the ground. Lower the stabilizers where they're horizontal with the ground. I generally have to step on them and push them down a little bit further after it's on the ground. We'll see. Now we're ready to disconnect the hydraulics, connect up the 3-point hitch hydraulics, raise the backhoe up and release the pins. We don't need hydraulics to the backhoe anymore. Everything's in the park position. And they say move these around, relieve any pressure. This is a high pressure hydraulics going to the backhoe. Cap it, keep that dirt out. That dirt will wear out your hydraulic pump. This is the hydraulic to the 3-point hitch, the lower 2 lift links. This is the return line from the backhoe, the low pressure side. Cap it, keep the dirt out. Save your hydraulic pump from being wore out by sandpaper. Cap it. Okay, when we move the rock shaft back, it's going to raise the 2 lower lift links. Pick up the backhoe and release the mount pins. I'll lower the rock shaft back down so you can see 2 lower lift links dropping out of the slot. You see the crossbar. Bring it back up. Push this back. Bring it back up. Push it back down. You see the backhoe drop down. This is locked up. Can't move the mount pins. Bring the rock shaft back. Lift the backhoe up. Now they're loose. And you got a retainer pin with a clip on the bottom, spring clip. Remove it, and the retainer pin comes out of both holes. And here's your storage location. Then your mount pin comes out. Do that on both sides. Spring clip Remove the retainer pin. Here's the storage location. Then remove the mount pin. Okay, remove the spring off the retainer pin. Pull the retainer pin out of both holes to the storage location. Remove the mount pin. And do that on both sides. Okay, remove the spring off the retainer pin. Pull the retainer pin out of both holes. Here's the storage location. Remove the mount pin. Okay, we remove the spring clip from the retainer pin, pull it out of both holes. Storage location. Remove the mount pin. And do that on both sides. Okay, remove the spring off the retainer pin. Storage location. Remove the mount pin. We're ready to lower the backhoe onto the ground. Lift lead, crossbar, down, and going up, crossbar to the slots, come on up, and down. Now the only thing holding the backhoe on the tractor is two lower lift links. As soon as we lower them, the backhoe will be completely disconnected from the tractor. We're ready to lower the backhoe onto the ground. The rock shaft, go forward, it's going to lower it down. Lift link and the crossbar down. Nothing connected to the backhoe now. We can slowly pull forward. This is what happens if you have the stabilizers too far down. Now they're supporting the backhoe. The bucket's not on the ground. And the frame's not on the ground either. The stabilizers are holding the backhoe up off the ground. So we need to release the stabilizers and lower the frame down onto the board. Now just pull them back. It lowers the pressure on this side. Use the other one. We'll lower the pressure on the other side. Now the bucket's on the ground. So I had the stabilizers down too far down. It was supporting the backhoe. Here the backhoe's down on the boards here. This is the pivot point, but the crossbar here is too high. I need to lower it down a couple of inches. From the pivot point to the crossbar is about 22 inches, and then from the pivot point back to the bucket is about 88. So that's 4 to 1. So if I want to lower the crossbar down 2 inches, I got to raise the bucket 8 inches. So I'll just put some boards under it. This is the clearance on the tractor. Tight there, high over here. But you want the crossbar to be below, so it don't hit the tractor when you're backing back up. And if this is not low enough, I just added 3 boards here to raise the bucket up a little more. Raising the bucket up. This is the pivot point. So raising the bucket up lowers the crossbar. It's a seesaw. High on that end, low on this end. That's the clearance on the bottom of the tractor, so we need this crossbar at least below the 5 inches there. It's very close, so I'm going to raise the backhoe back up and put another board or 2 under the bucket. And going up, crossbars in the slots, and come on up. Try 2 boards here, see what happens. Then we'll lower it back down. Okay, the tractor clearance is 5 inches, so that crossbar is going to be well below the 5 inches there, inch or so below it. So when I pull away, it won't scrape the bottom of the tractor. And when I go to reinstall it, if it things hadn't settled too much, it'll go underneath the tractor frame without touching it. Okay, I'm ready to slowly pull away. Okay, we're ready to pull forward slowly. Bucket up, release the emergency brake, first gear, and hopefully not drag anything with us. Alright, I'm going to bring the rock shaft all the way up so I can put the pins in and bucket back on the ground, neutral, emergency brake, buckets on the ground. And notice these tabs are out on the crossbar. They help. I believe they help line the crossbar up in the backhoe. As it's coming back, I think the tab helped line it up here. And it's back into here, and then once you're in the slots, lifts it up. So you can put the mount pins in or take them out. I don't like leaving these loose pieces here, so I put the mount pins back in. Retainer pin through both holes, and then the clip on it that keeps the retainer pin in, and the retainer pin keeps the mount pin in, and I'll know where they are next time. And retainer pin through both holes, clip on the end, retainer pin can't come out, and the mount pin can't come out. Now the center link. The manual says the middle one for medium loads. I think my land leveler is considered a medium load. See, the bubble level makes it level with the center of the earth. But if this is the tractor, you want the crossbar level with the tractor. If the tractor's not level, you don't want the crossbar to be level with the center of the earth. You want it to be level with the tractor. However, this bubble is off to the side. You want it to be off to the side the same way with the crossbar, and then it'll be level with the tractor. So the bubble's off to the left of the center line. You don't worry about up and down. We're going left and right. And here, it's off to the left of the center line. The crossbar is level with the tractor, and now these mount pins should go in and out easily. No force. The third problem was this pin would come out easily, and this one would be hard to get out, and that's because the crossbar was not level. So you want to level the crossbar with the tractor. Here I've got a bubble level. See, the bubble's off to the left of the center line, so we want the bubble off to the left. Doesn't matter about up and down, just where it is on that center line. So that's pretty good right there. You run it all the way up. I think it's about 2.5 turns. So that's all the way up. You want the bubble off to the left. Just a half. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, about 2.5. Between 2 and 2.5. Now the crossbar is level with the tractor. If the mount pins came out okay, not binding, then you have this turnbuckle at the right location. You want this crossbar to be level with the tractor. If the turnbuckle's got this one high or low, then one pin will generally be hard to get out. If they're both easy to get out, then you want to remember this position. So what I do is just count how many revolutions till it goes all the way to the top, and then from then on I just come down, go to the top, and then come down that many revolutions, and the crossbar will be level with the tractor, and the pins will come out easily. Okay, 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, got 2 3/4. Let's go back to quarter. 1/2, and that's all the way up. So we want to come down 2.5, and then the crossbar will be level with the tractor, and the pins will come out easily. Go back to the quarter there. Okay, 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Then lock it into position. Don't go to this lock position because this handle will be in the way of the frame and bind the backhoe frame, and then makes this mount pin bind also. So I go 1/8 of a turn. Now this handle's out of the way, no problem. These are off the ground, so I'm going to release them and push them on back down. Say make it horizontal with the ground, but they're always above ground. So we got wood under the frame, 1 point of contact, 2 buckets, 3. The other stabilizers 4 points of contact and support. It's very stable. I'm not worried about the kids climbing on it. It's 1,200 pounds, but it's stable. The manual also said if you're gonna leave it outside for any amount of time, put a light coat of grease on these cylinder rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. When you're using it, the cylinder rods go inside the cylinder and are bathed in hydraulic fluid. When they come back out, they got a coating of hydraulic fluid on them. But if you leave them out in the weather, that gets washed off, and they say that light coat of grease on all of them will tend to slow down any rust and corrosion. And covered up. Okay, that's it. If it's windy, I'd say tie this down, but I don't leave it out here that long without hooking it back up to the tractor. Okay, that's it. I'm going to hook up the land leveler.